Let's give away some Sona emotes. It's time for a riddle. My last word, my. Give me the full name and the emote is yours. The first correct comment below wins. This riddle is for EU viewers only. When it comes to older champions, pretty much any update, be it gameplay or visual, tends to also reflect in new stories. And sometimes, when it's a proper rework, the entire character may change to get a recognizable personality. This process can turn a flat character into a really cool one, a generic warrior into an actual person, a generic evildoer into a hero without a cape, an adventurer into a jerk. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. More importantly, today we will have a look at Ezreal, a champion older than most Yasuo mains. Ezreal's first iteration of modern lore came with the massive Piltover update in early December 2016. The same update also went through the stories of Caitlyn, Jace, Orianna, Vi, and the newcomer Camille. All the Zone champions got their updates couple of weeks later. The big revelation of this update was that Piltover and Zone were no longer two separate cities. We learned that long time ago there was only Piltover, but later it split into Piltover and Zone, with Zone being the underbelly of Piltover. We'll go deeper into how this happened later. Either way, Ezreal's original bio didn't change that much, so let me sum it up for you. Ezreal was born and raised in a wealthy neighborhood of Piltover. His parents were renowned archaeologists, so of course they were gone most of the time. Ezreal stayed at home with his uncle, the esteemed Professor Lemaire, but his uncle didn't enjoy having to take care of a growing teenager, as if any parent did. So he assigned the strictest tutors to teach him loads of complicated subjects. Unfortunately for them, Ezreal was the kind of student that didn't have to prepare for tests and passed everything with ease. You know the kind. One such guy is in every class of every school. This gave Ezreal loads of free time. And what does Ezreal do with free time? He roams around the university, climbs onto rooftops, sneaks into teachers' offices and generally screws with their stuff. Every time his parents returned, they told him what they have seen and what they want to explore next. This is when he learned about the tomb of Nezuk, an ancient Shuriman tyrant who had the ability to instantly jump between places. It was their ultimate goal to uncover Nezuk's sorcery. As Ezreal grew older, the time between his parents' visits grew longer. Until 1 year they didn't return at all. Professor Lemaire admitted that they most likely perished somewhere out in the desert. But Ezreal didn't accept that and he ventured out on his own. He knew he had to start searching at the final resting place of Nezuk. So he left a note of farewell for his uncle, who was probably really happy, and snuck onto a supply ship bound for Nashrame. Following his mother's old field notes, he crossed the Great Sigh with merchant caravans and headed south. Months passed and with each new adventure he felt he was getting closer to solving the mystery. Eventually he figured out that beneath a new mausoleum of some unnamed emperor there was the tomb of Nezuk. But inside the tyrant's sarcophagus there was only a bronze gauntlet. When Ezreal donned the gauntlet, the tomb started crumbling down. Ezreal was able to blast his way through and even teleport up to the hidden entrance. Over time, as he returned home, unfortunately for the uncle, he realized the gauntlet was most likely a weapon of a god warrior. And he also realized that if he could make a name for himself as the greatest adventurer in the world, the word would eventually get to his parents and they would seek him out. So that's what Ezreal is doing now. Using the gauntlet, he's delving into places others could only read about. Two important things to note here. Number one, the God Warriors eventually turned into Darkin after the fall of Ikathia and the death of Azir. I wonder if the original wielder was also a Darkin and that's why he was missing. Number two, the story no longer mentions the second glove. Originally there were two gloves that made a set, but Ezreal didn't know the other even existed. That part is not included in the story anymore, possibly so Riot has some aces up their sleeves, and possibly because they don't want to be forced into eventually bringing back the second gauntlet. Also, if Nezuk actually became a Darkin, it is possible that he might be sealed inside the second gauntlet somewhere in the world. Ezreal also had a short story called Elixir of Ulloa. This story pretty much describes one of his Indiana Jones adventures. He delves into a tomb, grabs the Elixir of Ulloa, and it comes crashing down. And Ezreal escapes. This story isn't really that important, so why don't we jump into the new one? With the reveal of updated Ezreal, we also got a brand new story called An Explorer's Journey. A handwritten account of the discovery of the Vault of Resplendent Holies. By Ezreal, Piltover's greatest fully accredited explorer. Official Piltover Explorers Guild membership still pending. Why the name? So why don't we jump right into it? It's a journal, so of course it is written by Ezreal. Day 1, preparation. Expedition checklist. Shuriman Power Gauntlet, check. Reinforced leather jacket, bespoke of course, supplied by Zayli's expeditionary outfitters, and haberdashery on Cephalite Row, check. Waxed canvas boots, also from Zayli, check. Spelunking gear, check. 1 rope. Do I need to worry about length? Check. Hand pickaxe, what's that tool even called? Check. Camjack costume, single use only, check. 1 jar of Light Feather Brand Depper Explorer pomade. Maybe double this? Check. I told Zayli to charge it all to my uncle. He's good for it. Now I'm ready to explore. An adventure into a jerk. Sorry, I don't know where that one came from. Day 3, planning. Oh yeah, I should probably write down what I'm exploring. For posterity. My uncle theorizes that Zone was once a Shuriman port city called Oshrava Zone, and that over the centuries the name got shortened. He doesn't have much proof and no one believes him. So I'll be a good nephew, find the proof and take all the credit. My sources say industrial excavations opened up a crack somewhere deep in the sump. The plan is simple. Tomorrow I will locate and descend into the crack. Find proof, see above, preferably an accursed urn or lost grimoire. Something earth-shatteringly cool. Spelunk my way back up to the surface, gloat to my uncle over dinner. Profit? I'm keeping this journal to document the process. The record of those events will probably end up in a museum, right next to a marble statue of me. Note to self, get sculptor recommendations. Jerk. This part is a little bit awkward. Zone became Zone because Piltover was split with an unhealthy amount of explosives. At the beginning there was only Piltover. They tried to make a gateway for ships below the city and didn't bother to do the calculations properly. So much for a city of progress, I guess. Do you really think the dying society of underground Piltover used some ancient Shuriman name for this mess of an underbelly of a rich city? No, they didn't give a fluff about ancient emperors. They were glad they didn't die of a disease. I mean, they were happy they still had both arms. I mean, they were happy they survived with all limbs. I mean, there is the chance that maybe there was an explorer in Zone who knew about the ancient emperor, and who knew that Piltover is standing on an ancient Shuriman tomb. But that is just so unlikely. That person would have to be in the lead of Piltover. The awkward part is that the professor believes that the name Oshrava Zone was shortened over centuries to Zone. But when Zone became a thing, the entire city was already 100% modern Piltover society. Why would they use ancient Shuriman language to name a city the modern society created with nuclear weapons? The worst part is that if Zone is named after ancient Shuriman port, they obviously had to know the ancient tombs are down there below Piltover. Do you think Piltover would allow people to dump their crap down onto ancient tombs? The sump level of Zone is called the sump because all worst things get dumped down there. This guy lives there. Why would you not take care of it if you knew about it? Yeah, I don't know, it's just a little bit confusing. Let's continue. Day 4, bright and early. This is one massive crack. I forgot to bring a lantern, so it's a good thing my gauntlet glows pretty bright. When I peered down into the crack, I almost literally gasped. There's a whole maze of dusty staircases and old passageways down there. It's a veritable labyrinth. Going to descend. Well, update from the other side. Uncle Lemaire's probably going to be really jealous. Day 4, somewhere around lunchtime? Morale is low. Pomade supplies are low. I really should have packed a snack. I'm only about a quarter way down and I've run out of rope. This narrow ledge provides me a chance to rest and reflect upon this dire situation. I must decide, face starvation and continue downward, or abandon the whole thing and return empty-handed. Day 4, well past noon. Is pomade edible? Day 4, tea time-ish. Excellent news, I found something. A few ledges down from where I was resting was a door. Old, sandstone, very dusty. I brushed away centuries of grime to reveal some glyphs, owls and stuff. I deciphered what I could, but my ancient Shuriman is a little rusty. Best guess it was something about a curse. Really bad curse that multiplies? Maybe 1,000 curses? This is fantastic! Like I always say, if it's not cursed, it's not worth it. Since I couldn't locate any kind of ancient doorknob, I restored to the ultimate lockpick, my gauntlet. Sorry about your door history, but what lies on the other side intrigues me more than a bunch of old glyphs. This new antechamber is really intriguing. It's impeccably clean for starters, and... Sorry, I thought I heard something. Cracks? Footsteps? With the benefit of hindsight, my gauntlet blast may have been too much for the support columns. Gotta go, no one remembers explorers that get smooshed. Day 4, almost dinner time. Well, that was fun. I thought the tomb was going to collapse, because tombs always collapse, especially when I'm inside. But what really happened? Well, the door didn't lie. The antechamber was cursed. Turns out Oshrava Zone housed the renowned Vault of Resplendent Holies. One of those holies is a relic that once belonged to the Emperor's personal spirit banisher, Karikan. Looks like he used to bind troublesome entities into inanimate objects and use them for his own dark purposes. And he died right here where Zone now rests. He also had a whole army of fiery stone warriors who don't like people touching old Karikan stuff. Don't worry, I blasted them all to smoldering smithereens. I was able to grab this wonderfully preserved golden stele though. It's inscribed with the legend of the Day of Fire and Karikan's oath to protect the city of Ostrava Zone. It's CZECH. This is going to change the world. Hopefully not just the academic world. Nobody cares about the academic world. Day 5? Ancient Shuriman curses really don't mess around. Not only was there that one army of fiery stone warriors. Oh wait, were they golems? But all of a sudden water began rushing in through the cracks in the floor. I must be somewhere under the river Pilt. Swam through so many tunnels. Loads of locked doors. Had to resist the urge to explore them all. Think I'm close to the surface. Which is good. Because I saw some nasty looking merc eels a few tunnels back. Disgusting creatures. Might be a while before I can check in again, but as long as I can keep this tail wrapped up in cloth and protect it, this whole trip will be completely worth all the life-threatening shenanigans and tragically soaked socks. On a sadder note, I've used up the last of my Depra Explorer pomade. Day 6, back to civilization. Sitting in Zales. It really is one of the best outfitters in Piltover. In fact, I'm here to take advantage of their excellent return policy. My jacket is torn to shreds, and the boots weren't waterproof at all. I could say it's all defective, but Zoli has already graciously offered to tailor me some replacements. The Explorer's Guild is never going to take me seriously if I present this journal and this tale dressed like I've just lost a game of Krakenhand to a bunch of much-down backringers. I have to look good. New jacket, pants, boots, socks, pomade. Feels good to look this good. Trust me on that. Day 9. Damage control. Let this official record show that I had nothing to do with the swarm of fiery critters that plagued the mercantile district of Piltover. I'm blameless. So, I hear you ask, who is to blame? The clerk at Zales. Never let the babbling clerk at Zales handle a potentially enchanted golden stele that you laboriously retrieved from a lost vault in the depths of Zone. Why? Because he will undoubtedly unwrap it and set it on the windowsill in direct sunlight, which, of course, will conjure disembodied voices chanting in hitherto unknown arcane languages. Then your precious tale will begin to glow, before exploding into living shards of searing heat. Yes, turns out when placed in the sunlight of an equinox, the stale unleashed old Karikan's infernous gremlins. Okay, so I didn't know today was the equinox. That's on me. I should invest in Almanac. Note to self, invest in Almanac. Not from Zales. The earth is shaking. I probably should stop writing right now, because some of those little horrors are pouring out of the sewer gates. I shot a few of them with my gauntlet. They didn't like it that one bit, and winked out of existence pretty quickly. Result. So yeah, all the proof I have to the entire Capra is this journal. And my good word. Day 12. Seeking legal advice. The preliminary hearing is set for next week. Need to read up on Piltover's libel and slander laws. I'll be representing myself, obviously. I mean, you make the decision. Is he a jerk now? I don't even mind Lux being so sassy at him now.
Are we supposed to be dating or something? We've never even talked.
Don't pretend you didn't see me, Lux. That doesn't work.
You lick.
Hey, did you know that we have social media and Twitch where we talk about other League facts and stories? And did you know that we have need mugs and shirts too? The links to all of that will be below. And as always, thank you, come again.